Consistently breaking through resistance levels, the VN Index marks its strongest growth in the past 3 years. At the close of the morning session on July the 22nd, the VN Index hit the 1,491.12 points. And the underlying causes go beyond surface factors, driven by key forces propelling the VN Index forward. To help us understand more about this growth momentum, we have here with us today Dr. Chen Tanglong, Director of Research Center at BIDV Securities. It's a pleasure to talk with you today. Can you help explain to us what caused the recent growth of the VN Index?
Over the last 3 months, everyone sees that VNINDEX is growing really high. We're now approaching our all-time high of 1,500. And this is the highest point we have since 2022. And we see that there are several reasons behind us. The first of all is our macroeconomy situation is quite stable. And Vietnamese government are now targeting a very high growth in terms of GDP, around like 8%. And because of that, the Vietnamese government are now supporting in terms of policy. The second one is the growing in terms of liquidity in the market. And especially in July, we see that there are several sections that the liquidity is getting over $1 billion US dollars to $1.2 billion US dollar, even higher than several emerging markets in Southeast Asia. And the last but not least, the growth of the market are now backed up by the growing in terms of profit. The number we have from the profit of the first quarter of 2025 of the overall VN Index is growing around like 12%, which is even quite high compared to several years.
So how do you assess the quality of this growth?
So over the last 3 months, after the reciprocal tariff from the US, all markets is growing, and our markets, VN Index, is growing pretty fast compared to other markets, especially in Southeast Asia. And we find out that around 1/3 of the growing point is from the banking stock. The other 1/3 is from like large cap, like VN Group stock or Galaxy Group. And the last one, the 1/3, is from other sector, big stock, like big cap, especially from the technologies and industry and also logistic firm.
So in the context of regional and global markets, is Vietnam benefiting from the overall trend, or is it something distinctively of Vietnam?
Vietnamese market is surely benefit from the recovery trends. Not only VN Index are growing, we also find that market, especially in Asia, the biggest stock market in the world is the US market. We have S&P 500, also the NASDAQ are growing. So Vietnam is not a standalone market. We are growing in same trends with market in Asia, also with most of the stock market over the last few months. And also our market also stand out compared to other when we come into the recent growing in our macroeconomies, because we are among the very few countries that targeting very high GDP growth, especially when the Vietnamese government are not just target a very high GDP growth this year, but target a very high GDP growth for the next 10 to 12 years.
Thank you very much for your insight, Dr. Chen Tanglong. Now, by mid-July, the VN Index has risen more than 6%, fueled by significant progress in Vietnam's negotiations on reciprocal taxation and its increasingly pivotal role in global supply chains. These developments are setting the stage for a positive market trajectory in the later half of the year, opening up a wide array of potential investment opportunities. To fully capture the potentially beneficial trend of this momentum, Vietnam must take crucial steps to refine the institutional framework, improve transparency, and most importantly, continue to enhance investor education. These are key to making Vietnam's stock markets beneficial for all participants and attracting foreign investors.